HTV vinyl, why don't you use it? Well, I do. And one of the comments was, I haven't seen you do anything with HTV in a long time. And that's true. I have not done any videos with using HTV in a couple of years. But I've found something here that is kind of unique, and it gives a great end result. And that is a glitter HTV vinyl. And I got two colors here. I got some white and some pink. And these have a glitter finish to them. And I'm going to be putting a design on this kid's shirt right here. Yes, it's brand new, still got the tags on it. But we're going to be putting a design on that shirt. It's for my great-granddaughter. But at any rate, where did this vinyl come from? Well, it come from Amazon, of course, but Guangyintong, and hopefully I did not butcher that name too bad. It's a very heavy HTV. It's going to be much heavier than your conventional, just non-glitter HTV. I've done a couple projects with it already, and I really like it. Of course, made in China. Comes in lots of colors too. But I'm going to take you on the computer here. I'm going to show you this design I'm doing, and then just to be different here, instead of using my big heat press, I'm going to use my Cricut Easy Press, because people say, I never see you use a Cricut Easy Press. Well, I don't have $1,000 to spend on a big heat press. Well, you don't have to. You can do it with a Cricut Easy Press too. In fact, you could even do this with an iron if you keep your graphics small enough and keep things moving so that you have even heat all over. But we'll get into that in a little bit. First, take you on the computer, show you the design I'm doing. Here's my initial graphic of one of the two I'm going to use. And what I like to do is take graphics from different places. These are purchased, of course. I didn't just steal these. And I modify them for what I want to do. So what I've got here, this is an SVG file I've imported into Inkscape. What I want to do is take the horn and the two ears off of this part of the graphic, because I'm going to be using a different unicorn graphic below these words. So in order to do that, I right-click on this and I can ungroup this. Now I can select these individual parts. For example, I can grab that ear and I can just delete it. Delete it. And I think I'm going to have to do these in a group up here. Now, after I've done that, I'll select the whole thing. I'll right-click on it, and I'll regroup it so it stays together. And then I will save that as my unicorn file number 1. Okay, this is my second graphic. This is the one I'm going to be placing underneath the words. And I may flip this, but you kind of get the idea there. And I'll resize it once I get over into Cricut's Design Space and get this sized up for the shirt. So this will be the second file. This one will be a different color. Okay, this is in Cricut Design Space. I'm using Cricut, not a Silhouette. So if you have a Silhouette, things will be similar but not exactly the same. So I've imported my first graphic into there, and of course it's too small for what I want to do, so I need to make that somewhat larger. And if I take this to maybe 9 inches, it makes it 9 by 7. So in measuring my shirt, I had a 10 by 8 area to work with. Okay, this is a size 6 shirt, just kind of for reference. That's kid size, child size, whatever you want to call it. So what is my work area going to be here? It could be as much as 11, but I think I'm going to probably stick to 9 or 10. And I want to stay underneath this little insignia thing up here. So coming down this way, I could go down, easily go down 11 inches. But I'm going to do this in 2 parts. The lettering will be up here, will be in the white glitter. And then the pink glitter will be a unicorn underneath it down here. So this will work for that. All I need to do is get my vinyl loaded up and get it on the Cricut. This, I'm using a standard grip mat, and if you've never used HTV before, you'll have a shiny side and a dull side. You'll be cutting on the dull side, and the shiny side will go down on your mat. And this is very heavy gauge, and it's got quite a curl to it. And it can be a little bit of a dickens to get to lay flat and stay there. And the last thing I wanted in there was air bubbles. Yeah, it looks good there. Now I get the Cricut set up here. So ready to make this. We'll just go up here and click on make. Yeah, we'll save it. Okay, and I don't like the way that came out. So we're going to have to go back and do a little bit of redesigning here. Okay, the problem was I forgot to weld my graphics together. So now let's try it again. Hey, that looks a little better. We'll go to continue here. Always remember to plug your USB cable in because it won't work without it. Okay, I've got one saved on here. It's called Glitter Iron-On, and that is the one that works the best. That's what we're going to use for materials. Because this is a nice, thick, heavy gauge, I'm going to go with a little more on pressure. So now I just need to get this loaded and cut it out. This one's fairly complex, so it's going to take a little bit of time for this one to cut out. There are a lot of little shapes in there. It's going to be fun weeding this one. Okay, we're all cut out here, so now all I need to do is weed this. And something to keep in mind is that this heavy glitter vinyl HTV does not weed as easily as regular HTV does. You're going to be pulling a little extra hard, and you're going to have to watch and make sure you had good cuts. And I have a new knife in my Cricut, so everything's looking good there. And just take your time as you go through it. Okay, got everything weeded here on this first one, so what I'm going to do now is take this off the mat, and then I will cut a lot of the excess off of it, and then I'm going to size it on the shirt and decide how big I want my unicorn to be. And remember to peel the mat from the vinyl, not the vinyl from the mat, otherwise it's going to curl up on you. Okay, just doing kind of a mock layout here. So you got a little insignia there on this shirt, but I'm going to be right just below it. I can almost make that look like it was part of the graphic, other than it won't have glitter to it. If I just move this up a hair, it almost looks like it's part of it. So now, what do I have left here for space? I could go, I think I'll make my unicorn about 5 inches high. So I'm going to do that out of the paint glitter. Okay, I've got my unicorn graphic in here. I've got a piece of vinyl already laid out on the mat for this, so I need to do a little resizing here. So I want this to be 5 inches high. Resize that though. Nope, not 55. That'd be way too big. 5 inches high. And since I've got a piece of vinyl here that goes all the way across the board, I'm going to do 2 of these. I'll do a copy and I'll do a paste. You can always use an extra unicorn for something. Okay, so now we'll just hit make. Oh, unicorn 2. And continue. I know it's connected. It's got one on it. I don't know why it's making me do this. I never had to do that before. See, now it works just fine. Okay, back to glitter iron-on. We want to add more pressure. And of course, we are mirroring this. So now just load it up and cut it. Well, for some reason this pink is hard to weed. I don't know why. The other colors haven't been. I've worked with a few different colors here, but this pink seems to be a little harder to weed. Not impossible, it just takes you a little bit longer. Just take your time and it'll come out. Okay, something to note here is you'll see some residual glitter on the backing paper. That is not going to transfer onto your project. I've done a few things with this vinyl, and although that glitter is there, it does not transfer. If any does come off, it'll just brush right off. It doesn't heat transfer like this part will. So I got that all weeded up. I'll get that off the sheet. I'll get these cut apart, and we'll get to pressing. Little suggestion, and I know some people don't do it, but I always do. Get yourself a lint roller, either $1.25 at Dollar Tree. They'll last a long time. And get the lint off of it. It'll help your HTV to adhere better or longer and make it more color fast, I guess you would say. And this being a burgundy shirt, it's going to be real obvious what a difference this makes, because look at all the fuzz that's on the roller. Okay, time and temperature on this is, we're going to be doing 305 degrees for 15 seconds. And I am going to be using a Cricut Easy Press here instead of my big heat press. This is a small item, no reason to fire up that big heat press. And I'm going to do just a little bit of a ironing here, so to speak. Get any wrinkles out of there. And I'll get this centered up like I did before with that little Nautica insignia right up there, kind of to make it look like it belongs there. And we gotta wait for that to come up temperature. Okay, we're up to temperature here. Get this in place. Start timer. You don't need to put a great deal of pressure. You want to push down, of course, but you don't need to like just stand on it. There's our time. And I'm not going to call this a hot peel, and I'm not going to call it a cold peel. I like to let it just cool off for a little bit, and then I'll peel it. It's kind of like a warm peel. You don't want to do it too soon, or your graphics may come off with the backing sheet. And there's our first set of graphics. Now my unicorn's going to go down below that, so I'll get this reset here. And again, I'm going to use the lint roller down here. I didn't get the very tail end of that before. So I'll get my graphics centered underneath everything there. I'm going to put the little unicorn's horn right in between that star and that little squiggle there. Now I am going to drop it down a little bit. Make it more down towards the shirt tail here. And then we'll do the same thing, of course being careful not to get the Easy Press up on the lettering we've already done. And we'll start time. And there's our time. And we'll let this set for a few seconds. And there we are. So here is the finished shirt. Or is it finished? Remember, I got another unicorn here. And I think what I'm going to do is put it in the center up on the back. Now to do that, because I already have some graphics on here, I'm going to be putting heat on from the back. I'm going to put a piece of cardboard inside there to more or less insulate this. So I'll get me a piece of cardboard and we'll get this set up, and I'm going to press this one on the back. Something even easier, the mat fits inside the shirt. That'll insulate it for sure. So I can get that up in there. It's all set. I was got to looking at that and I thought that mat sure looks like it could fit inside that shirt, and it does. Just need to get things centered up here. A bit of a pre-press. Same thing again. Yeah, let that stand for a second or two. Actually more, 10 to 15 seconds. And as I mentioned, there's glitter on here on the backing sheet. It does not transfer to the project. As you see, there's no extra glitter anywhere. So here's our finished shirt. Sparkle like a unicorn. I'm sure my great-granddaughter will love this because she is quite a bit into unicorns. And of course, we got the unicorn on the back as well. Again, this vinyl came from Guangyintong. I hope I pronounced that right. I will put a link in the description on where to get it there on Amazon. This is pretty good stuff. I've did some experimenting with it before, run it through the washing machine. Of course, you want to wait at least 24 hours after you do one of these before you wash it. And the best way to do it is in cold water and turn it inside out when you're washing it. And if you're going to tumble dry it, do it on warm, don't do it on a high heat. That's with any HTV, and it'll last a lot longer. So there it is again, and of course here's the back. So there's a project with HTV. So people say, you never use HTV anymore, how come? I never see you do anything with the Easy Press. It's always on the big 16 by 20 automatic press. Well, I did. So there you are. So if you got anything out of this, appreciate getting a thumbs up. Always helps the channel. I'm Roger in the loft above the shop. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.